Hello, hello, and welcome to tip number 26 from Aletha Solter's book, Raising Drug-Free Kids. I'm T, your joyful parent guide and harmonizer, and so yesterday we did tip number 25, which was don't punish your child. Okay, now as if that weren't enough, we're going to get into another detail of that. It's like a subset of that really today. And so if you're here with me live, please say hello. I think I'll be able to see comments. And if you're listening to the replay, hashtag ease, E-A-S-E, okay, so that I know you are here, and I would love to know that. So tip number 26 is don't isolate your child to control her behavior. Now, this in today's world is known as a timeout. Okay, as timeout. When I was 3 to 6 years old, it was known as go to your room. But today we have a different name for it, timeout. And what it also has enabled, which is not necessarily a great thing, is for it to be used in places other than the home, so like preschools and what have you. Timeouts. And so the main thing here is for kids to be resilient in the world. And if they're resilient in the world, they're going to be less apt to go seeking or even get hooked into drugs and alcohol, tobacco, whatever, when they grow into adolescence. They'll just be less likely. And so if we want a resilient child, that child needs to feel supported. Okay, especially important at these young ages that our children feel supported. And so to feel supported, they need to feel a connection with us. And so I'm not going to say again that I never said go to your room. Okay, so I'm not being a hypocrite here, but I do want to address there are 3 really great reasons that Aletha talks about in the book, and I want to give my little riff on those. One is your child may feel unloved if she is sent to a timeout. For whatever reason. And even if you shower her with I love yous after that and what have you, she still may feel unloved. And why? Because she's 3 years old, 4, 5, 6 years old. That's why. She doesn't have the experience to know, oh, mom just has this thing when I say this word, or mom just has this thing when I bust out crying because she was never allowed to cry, or whatever. She doesn't have any of those concepts or understandings. She feels like she's unloved in that moment. That our love, as the parent, our love is conditional, which goes into the second thing, is we're teaching them what we can't handle. So if we can't handle certain words or certain levels of volume or certain emotions or certain things that they do that we don't like, they're disobedient. They're learning those things. And so when they grow up, and we're talking about drug-free kids here, right? So we're talking more about adolescents. When they grow into that stage, if they learned that you can't tolerate disobedience, they're going to be more apt to either openly rebel or sneak. And I think I told you previously that was my MO, right? I was a great reader of energy back then. Like, I knew what was not okay. So that's okay. It just doesn't have to be visible to you, right? So you're teaching them what you can't tolerate, and then they are going to choose, consciously or unconsciously, their own ways to deal with that later. If you, for example, can't tolerate a certain emotion, then your child is going to learn pretty quickly, because they want your unconditional love, right? They want to feel love from you. They're going to learn early on to hide that kind of emotion. And that's why, I don't say this flippantly, it sounds flippant, but that's why a lot of us are in therapy, because we conditioned ourselves to conform to the mold that was presented as, you have to fit in this mold in order to be loved. So we contorted ourselves somehow, and there are consequences to that. So none of us want those consequences for our kids. So then it becomes, how do I learn to tolerate this when I can't even tolerate it in myself, and now my kid is showing it to me? That's a different question, right? That's not something that Aletha is addressing in this book. That is something that I am passionate about in relational parents. That's my jam, because if we as parents, if I can help you as parent to undo some of that, to dissolve some of that, then it's a bonus, because it's a win for you, it's a win for any adult in your world, it's a win for your kid. So that is huge. So we said we don't want them to feel unloved, we don't want them to learn to contort and condition themselves and get conditioned in this way. And then the third reason, the third very good reason that this time out and go to your room, really punishment, right, or consequence, if you need to use that word, is not good, is because it addresses the symptom only, not the cause. And so we want to get deeper, right? We want to understand why, what's happening here with our kid. And if we can't figure that out, it's okay. We can take time out with our kid without isolating them. We can isolate ourselves from the situation if there was a fight or something like that, but we can go with them, putting a stop to the situation, but not isolating them and leaving them to their own devices to make a meaning out of why they're not with mom or dad in this moment when they are not feeling good. So I am going to wrap up on that note with tip 26. If you would like to take your parenting pulse, kind of see how you're doing in a matter of a minute, it literally is like taking your pulse. It's really quick. I'm going to put the link down in the first comment for your parenting pulse, and I would be very happy to know how that went and to shed some clarity, give you your next level of clarity as a result of your pulse. So until next time, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye for now.